Hey, friends. The method always changes, the message never does. See, sometimes we get that exactly backwards. I'm going to read a couple of verses here that I'm going to take a little bit out of context. Stick with me. You should read Luke 5, 1 to 11. We're going to read 4 and 5, and then we're going to talk about that idea. The method always changes, the message does not. When he had finished speaking, verse 4, he said to Simon, "Put out into the deep water and let down the nets for a catch." Simon answered, "Master, we've worked hard all night and haven't caught anything. But because you say so, I will let down the nets." See, Peter understood fishing. He was a commercial fisherman. We've been saying that. He knew that what Jesus was asking was the exact wrong thing to do. And yet, it's what Jesus was asking. He was asking him to try a new method. And would the same method work tomorrow? Probably not. This was probably one of Jesus' miracles. But in this instant, this is where we're taking a bit out of context. I don't know if frustrated is the right word or not. I see so many churches that they're stuck in a situation that looks like something at a Little House on the Prairie. Their church, it looks like something from like the 40s or the 50s, and they're trying to reach a 2025 culture. That's what this is. See, here we're going to twist it out of context a little bit again. I don't know much about fishing, but I do know you're not going to use stink bait to catch bass, right? You need lures on top of the water for that. And I know that you're not going to use lures to catch catfish. You have to fish for what you're trying to catch. Like you have to adjust your approach for what you're trying to catch. I did a job interview for a church down by Georgia a long time ago, and they said that they had a large Mexican population around their building, and so they asked if they were to bring me in, what's the first thing that I do, and I would learn Spanish, and they thought why would you would do that? Well, yeah, that's what the culture is around your church building, especially the neighborhoods. Like, I couldn't believe that that's not what, that nobody had done that. That seems like a no brainer. And then as I was looking on their website, they've got like they had this orchestra. That was the type of music that they had. And so I asked them, is that the type of music that you hear when you walk outside of your church? No, they began to describe it, and I said, why don't you use Christian music of that genre? Why don't Because we like it the way that we do it. I knew right then that was never going to work out. See, we get into these ruts to where we just like the way that we do church. But we've got to understand that aside from what happens in here, when we get together on Sundays, one, it's just a building. It's not the Lord's house. It's not, there's nothing special about it. The way that we worship God, that's one of the way that we do our services. That's one of the ways that we fish into our community. And so if we're just doing things the way that we like it, we're being selfish. We've got to learn to look into our communities and to create a situation to where it's a reflection without changing our message. See, that's why Jesus taught in parables. He taught in a way that the people could understand. He didn't use the same parables everywhere. He looked out into his crowd, and here he's talking about catching fish. And when he's amongst farmers, he talks about the soils, the different types of dirt that you come across. The method always changes, but the underlying message, Jesus is Lord, he wants to save you, that can never change.